before the spring of 2020, chances are pretty good that most of us had no idea what Zoom was. We had never heard of it, but we've gotten a lot of experience since then, though, for many of us. So if you already know how to use Zoom, that's fantastic. If you are new to using Zoom, though, I wanted to give you some information that will help you out so that you're not frustrated by it, and we can talk about how we're going to be able to meet in a virtual environment so that we can see one another, we can communicate, we can ask questions, we can talk, and we can get you the assistance you need as the semester goes on. So this is the website for Zoom, and it's zoom.us, and this is one way of getting there, and then you could sign into your meeting. One way to do that is to have an account with Zoom. Another way is just to join a meeting by typing in the ID and the password for the meeting. So this would be one way to access our Zoom meetings for class. A second way, though, and maybe an easier way, and you'll see this when we are working in Canvas, is you'll go to the course, and on the home page, the front page of the course, this is one of the first things I'm going to give you is the link to get to our meeting. So at the top of the page here, we have the week that we're working in, and we have our theme for the week, we have our objectives, and then under getting started, right away, here's what we're looking for. It's the Zoom link. And what you'll see down here is the day and time of our class meetings. What we have over here, we have some recommended protocols or behaviors for interacting and working with Zoom effectively, and we'll cover a bunch of these in the little discussion we're going to have here right now. But the Zoom link, if you give that a click, will take you to the actual link to click on to get into the meeting. So you saw zoom.us and you saw where you could type in the meeting ID. Well, you could cut and paste that meeting ID from here, or you could just click. So maybe you give it a click. Zoom will download the Zoom app if you don't have it yet, and then you can launch your meeting. Okay, and then you can say open the Zoom meeting or join the Zoom meeting for you. And what this does is it puts you in the waiting room and lets you get ready for class, and then when I arrive, the doors open up and everyone can come in and we can hang out and talk and work. Okay, so this is the fastest way to get to our class meeting, is to click on the one-click link. It'll bring us to the Zoom session. This would be the manual way of accessing it. Okay, so on the Zoom link, we have the link to the class and the ID. You'll see there is no password to get into our class. Also, we have a schedule for our one-on-one meetings, and you'll have a 5-minute time slot, and as the first week wraps up, we'll go over how that's going to work and who gets which time slot, and we'll try to work with your schedule if this doesn't work out for you. But this is the time period that the class normally falls in, so the assumption was that you would be available from the start time to the last finish time for a little bit of discussion and a little bit catching up with me. Okay, so this is how we're going to access Zoom so that we can open up the interface and begin working together. So let's talk about what it looks like once the meeting starts and once we get in. So what's going to happen next is it's going to open up the Zoom interface. It'll probably ask you if you'd like to allow the Zoom interface to open up. You say yes, of course, and then here's what we should see. We have our instructor patiently waiting for us, and then here is you, or in this case, here is me. And as more and more individuals come into the room, well, these views of their screen will get smaller and smaller, but we do want to see everybody. So let's talk about some of the features that we can see here, and if you've never used Zoom before, how to make this a little less mystifying. Down in the bottom left corner, there is a button called Mute, and you can see right now the microphone is just a microphone, but when I click it, it's a microphone with a slash through it. That means that the microphone is muted, and generally we want to have our microphone muted unless you are answering a question or speaking, because we don't need to hear conversation in the background or the dog barking or the garbage truck going up and down the street, or God forbid the ice cream man, right? Because that's just going to drive us all nuts. So please mute yourself when you come into the room, and you'll be able to unmute yourself when you need to contribute or share something or ask a question. Okay, but that's our first button of concern. Second one is video. And right now, the video camera has a red slash through it. So again, this has been disabled. If I click on it, hi there, it will be enabled. And what that lets us do is it lets us see one another. Now, I'm not feeling particularly beautiful right now, so I'm going to keep it off. But during class, the expectation is that we can see each other. This way, I know you're really there. And, you know, I really don't care what's in the background. No one does. I don't really care even if you're at work stocking a shelf or something. You can have activity in the background. That's not a problem. I just need to see that you're not sleeping. So mute is for sound. Start video. Stop video is for what we're seeing on the screen here. Up by my name, you'll see I have another little button that pops up, but only as I get close to the corner, or only as I hover over my panel. This will allow me to mute and unmute also. And then there's three little dots and ellipses here. If you click on the ellipses, you'll see that there's some more options. So what can you do? Well, you can mute or unmute your video again. You can start video, turn the video camera on or off. Rename. Rename is kind of nice, because maybe what we want to do is we want to change our name. Okay, and now my name has been updated. Please use your name. Sometimes your device will say things like Bob's iPhone, or Jerry's tablet, or Jimmy's hot mom's laptop. You want to make it say who you are so that everyone knows what your name is. Okay, and especially for me, you know, as we're starting class and it's a new semester and I don't really know you very well, and it's going to be very hard to get to know you very well, having the camera on and having your correct name down here is going to make my life a lot easier. Okay, and then if you don't want to see people who have the video off, you can hide them. You can also hide yourself if you don't want to see yourself. Okay, and that's some of the options you have over here with the little blue buttons in the corner. Up here, speaker view, gallery view. So I know it says speaker view right now, but clicking on it will bring you to the speaker view. If you look at the little icon next to it, it's a square, a giant square with little tiny squares on top. So clicking on this brings us into speaker view, which is a big screen for the presenter, and then little screens at the top for all the people that are participating. Okay, and there's a little scrolling band there if there's more than 4 or 5 people. Okay, and then gallery view, clicking on that will bring us to the gallery view, where we have just a big Brady Bunch set of images for all the different people. And once we get too many on one screen, it'll spill over into a second screen. So just keep in mind that this button here doesn't tell you what you're in. It doesn't tell you the mode you're in. It tells you the mode you can go into. See, right now, I'm not in speaker view. I'm in gallery. If I click speaker, I'll go to speaker. Right now, I'm not in gallery view. I'm in speaker view. But if I want to go to gallery, I'll give it a click, and now I'm in the gallery. Down the bottom, you might want to take a look at some of these also. Participants, if you click on that, will pop up a list that shows us who else is in the class. And for me, this is helpful again with your names. It'll tell us if their video is on or off. It'll also tell us if their microphone is on and off. Down the bottom over here, we have a little blue button called Raise Hand. And Raise Hand lets me know, hey, I need to talk, right? Because I might not be able to see you if you're waving your hands frantically at the screen, at the webcam. But if you pop up your Raise Hand, I can see it. So raise hand once to put your hand up, and then raise hand a second time to lower it, and now the hand goes down. Here's my name. I can unmute, and I can rename. For a survey, I guess we could all click on either a yes or no. If I had a question for you, what do you think, yes or no? And everybody could give their feedback. And then really quickly, I'd get an idea of who's getting the point that I'm trying to make. Go faster is a signal to me that, hey, you're slowing down, dude. You're really taking forever and milking this. Go slower would be, I can't keep up. Please, you gotta talk a little bit slower. Okay, and again, clicking on them a second time turns them off. And then there are some other buttons. We have a thumbs down, a thumbs up. We have a clap, a nice job. And then, hey, I could use a break. If you need a break, I mean, just stand up and walk around and take a break, right? You can always come back to it later. Okay, so these are the things that we see when we look at the participants panel. Again, you open it by clicking on the participants button. There's also a function for chat. If you click on the chat button, then you see that there is no chat in here yet, but we can type a message to everyone. And when I hit enter, it goes into the main chat window, and then everyone can see that. Now, depending on what is going on with the class, you might have access to text everybody or text just me. Sometimes Zoom is set up so that you can text individual people a private message, but I don't think we're going to need that, so we'll probably have that turned off. And again, anytime you see ellipses, the 3 dots, that means that there's some more stuff, right? So what else can we do? Well, we can save the chat. If I give you some answers to questions, or you want to preserve it, copy it and paste it in a Word document or an email, but that's the chat button. And you can actually have both of these things open at the same time. We can have the participant window open up here and the chat window open below it. And if we are really slick, you can get your cursor right there, right in that sweet spot, and you can raise and lower the windows to control their sizes. Now, if you don't have the participants window open, you can still send me some reactions like yay, clap, or thumbs up, but the participants window does give you some more options about speed, or the need for a break, or no, I don't agree, or yes, I love it, and raise your hand. Okay, so there are a couple of reactions thrown in there. I don't anticipate you're going to need to share your screen to me, but if I enable that, or I need you to, then you'll click on the button here that says share screen. And then you'll need to pick which web window or which program or which screen it is that you want to show me. And then you click on share. Okay, and that'll show me what you're seeing, and that'll be helpful. Just make sure what you're showing me isn't something that's potentially embarrassing. Okay, so this is more or less the basics of working in Zoom. If you haven't worked in Zoom yet, it's not so bad. I've probably used it every day since February, once the pandemic started, and I knew nothing about it on the first day, and by the second or third day I was feeling pretty comfortable. You know, I feel like a Zoom guru. At the end of our class session, or when you are done, or if you need to leave, the last thing you need to know is how to get out, and that is the button in the bottom corner. That is the leave button. Okay, so bye-bye, Master Yoda, and we're going to leave the meeting. And that wraps up how to work with Zoom